What's going on, everybody? This is Professor Crypto Banana. Today's episode, I'm going over the crypto project Wonderland and the tokens within it, time, and MEMO, which is short for memories. I got a simplified diagram that goes over how I understand it, how this also integrates well with the DeFi 2.0 projects that Danny's working on, because this is just one of his projects out of many, and they all combine, similar to Microsoft and how they got their suite of programs such as Microsoft Word, you got Microsoft Excel. It's just a suite of projects. Well, Wonderland is just one of those that is a part of the whole. So let's go over, here's the diagram, just a quick preview, but before we dive in deeper, I'm going to hit you with the disclaimer. Yeah, that's right, I am not a financial advisor. Surprise! So anything I say is not financial advice. These are just my opinions. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. By the way, everything I'm saying in today's video is extremely risky. I put some of my money into some of these projects, and I'm just going to assume that, hey, it's all gone, especially in the Wonderland side. So always keep that in mind. I'm going to talk about liquidation risks. I didn't know about it. I'm going to share that information because I think that could really help out some people who don't know about that so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did. In addition, I don't know everything about Wonderland. I'm not a crypto expert in general. I'm just more of a newbie. I like things to be simplified, and even though I don't know it all, I want, if I can save other people time and just give a brief overview and it helps them, I will do it. So that's what I'm planning on doing. But keep in mind, what I say could be incomplete, incorrect, and for this whole Wonderland project, I'm not talking about bonding and all the things that make it happen. I'm just going to point you to the resources. Y'all good? Cool. I hope that you also got timestamps because you can skip ahead to wherever you want. So we're going to get started here. DeFi 2.0. In a previous video, I gave a video explaining how I understand the whole suite of products interacting together. So we have Danny doing a lot of different projects, did the video, I explained like Abracadabra Money, MEMO, Spell, Popsicle Finance, ICE, why is everybody talking about all these projects and how they connect? Well, guess what? Did a video, check it out if you like. So I said I will do time at a later time. Ha! Well, I'm doing it right now. So let's get it. So some of the resources that I got from people that I learned from, Fantom Alerts. He does a great job on the Fantom side, and he explains a lot, and he explains how Abracadabra Money works on the Fantom side, and how, for example, you can what is it, stake your Fantom into Yearn, and all it's just complicated terms. Basically, you can take your Fantom, you can stake it, which gets you rewards, and it auto compounds it for you. Very nice. And then you can borrow money against it. And you can hit up Abracadabra Money, and you can do it that way, and then it just brings up so many other options. He does a great job of explaining a lot on the Fantom side. I love Fantom and how it goes about it. So very great video. He is an expert. See, I tell you, I'm a beginner, I'm a newbie, I like to explain things, but he is the expert. Check him out. In addition, there's also Drake on digital. He gave an overview on OccupyDEFI and how that works, and explains that, oh, Wonderland is a fork of Olympus DAO, so I guess it's just the same concepts, everything. So he does, you know, a great job of explaining it there. In fact, Danny even retweeted his video. So when he retweets it, I just assume that it has a lot of merit and validity to it. So check it out. Again, links in the description, because hey, if I'm learning something, why do you want to get the recycled resources, right? Go to the source. So I'm giving you that. Let's see what else we got here. So this is my diagram. Hey, what up? So to keep it simple, again, I'm not going over bonding. I didn't read all the documentation about this project. I'm just giving the very brief overview of how you can buy time, stake it, and then maybe just play around with it. Cool, let's get it. All right, so you're gonna go on Trader Joe on the Avalanche side, get time, buy it, boom. Then you can stake it, cool. Then you get your MEMO, which is short for memories, which is stake time. You get rewarded your stake time. Or when you stake, you get rewarded with time tokens. And what's cool is it auto compounds. And the rewards are so high, and the auto compounding, you know, this is APR versus APY. I will discuss it. Major difference. Major difference is huge, and it gives crazy amounts. So that's going to be a fun topic to talk about. But with cheap gas fees and often recompounding, whoo, that is amazing concept that's going on here. Some people have claimed that this is similar to a fair Ponzi scheme in essence. I've read other people's talk about, forgive me, I forgot or I can't find it, but they said that it does the reversal of how DeFi 1.0 happens. So on the DeFi 1.0, it's more of if you want the decentralized exchanges to work, some people have to voluntarily give up their capital for a while, which is liquidity pool providers, and then you get rewarded a little bit, but then there's always risks involved in terms of impermanent. Okay, all these terms, doesn't matter. DeFi 1.0, a lot of people will just lend out their capital, lend out their funds, and then they get rewards, and their rewards they would just sell, and then it would tank a lot of the prices. And that's just the name of the game. And what this one person, I think what he was trying to say is that this is the opposite. It's where that the rewards are super crazy, it gets auto-compounded, and it goes through the roof, but the people that hold are going to be rewarded a lot more. But then again, you run into other issues, such as what if somebody like whale dumps on you a ton, right? Because the APY is going to be insane in how it goes. So but then, if you hold it, you can take certain things into consideration, because you could be like, well, yeah, some people are dumping, but they could dump on me anyways, in just any type of environment, and it incentivizes you to hold on more, and I don't know, you can come up with your own strategies, reasons, but again, very, very risky. I think it's good during a bull run, personally. Again, not financial advice. Anything I'm saying is not financial advice. Extremely risky. You could lose all your stuff. But I think it's good during a bull run, because you can be speculative and deal with all that. Anything that Danny does, it's claimed that it's just got the golden touch. So if it's one of his projects, he's going to make sure that it's well taken care of. In fact, just recently there were some issues on other projects because it's backed by other assets, and essentially Wonderland was starting to dump in price, and there was question like, okay, what about his other projects that are happening? Can they sustain? Because it's integrated, and apparently it worked out really well with Abracadabra money and liquidation. They keep it separate and all that good stuff. So I went off track on that. So let's get back on track. So yeah, you got APY. Some things to think about. Ooh, another thing is think about taxes. Now, I am not a tax expert. You got talk to an expert or whoever it may be. However, I need to do more research on this, is where you get staking rewards. Does that count as income tax here in the US, or does that count as income, which is taxed, and that is its own bucket? So then I get taxed, and I think of it as like I got cheaper tokens, essentially. Now, there's a second bucket, independent, capital gains, capital losses. So it's like I get rewarded or I get paid in tokens, but then if I sell it right away, I don't have to really worry about capital gains or losses. However, then if it's at higher value when I sell the capital gains, if it's lower than capital loss. So anyways, not a crypto, or hold on, well, I'm not a crypto expert, also not a tax expert at all. This is not tax advice, so just research everything. Probably said that 20 times, but it goes worth saying. Anyway, so that's everything that we got on the Wonderland side. Pretty cool. Yeah, you got bonding, which you can pretty much get tokens, I guess, at a cheaper rate, and then some of the tokens are backed by what people are putting in, their LP tokens, and too much documents, read it. Cool. So you can stop the video right here if that's all you want to know about Wonderland. Now, this next portion, I'm going to talk about how this integrates with the DeFi 2.0 side, and little different options and variables that you can play. Hence the optional side. So Abracadabra money, think of them as the wizard, the bank. This is where you can deposit these tokens and borrow against it, and that gives a lot of different features. So before we even get to depositing and taking out on the bank, you come to the wizard on the bank side, and you can wrap your memo. Essentially, wrapping means that this token can go across different blockchains. So it can go from, let's say, in this scenario, from the Avalanche side to the Fantom side, and you can actually bridge your tokens or move your tokens across. Now, I don't know if it's supported across all the blockchains. I know for sure right now it's supported for Avalanche and Fantom. So, and with low gas fees on the Avalanche side, hey, I don't care about this interaction now. If it'd be on the Ethereum side, ooh, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry because of the gas fees. I ain't about that life. But when it's on the Avalanche side and the gas fees are super cheap, I don't care. Okay, you want me to wrap it so I can ship it over, or I can do different stuff? I don't care. So when you wrap it, you just chuck a W in front of it, and it means, hey, it can be used for borrow. You can use it as collateral to borrow against it. You can move it across different blockchains. That's all that W means. I think of it as like the W means, hey, it's now universal. How about that? Hopefully that analogy works, helps out. So don't get overwhelmed by the letters, because as a new person in the space, I get overwhelmed when you see like YV, the token. I'm like, what the heck? And then they stick numbers on there, and it's overwhelming. It's confusing as, you know, AF. So keep that in mind. So let's go over option A. So you wrapped your memo, meaning you make it, you know, kind of universal, and then you can bridge it over to the Fantom side. Boom! So now on the Fantom side, you can buy and sell, and if you want to just reverse the process, sure, bridge it back on over, go to the wizard to unwrap it, then you can go over to the Wonderland side, which is why I boxed it in blue, because it's just, you know, its own app right here, and you can just live in this app if you want to, but again, the optional is just to go on to different sides and what you can do more. But either ways, yeah, you unwrapped it, then you come back to Wonderland, you unstake, then you get more amount of time, hopefully, because it, you know, it was auto compounding, and then you can go to Avalanche. You know, you're on the Avalanche side, and you just sell at Trader Joe, and you get your time. Boom. So why go through this whole hassle with the process? Why is this important? I think for two reasons. Number one, there's probably a lot of users on the Fantom side, and they probably don't know much about Avalanche. They don't want to bridge over. It's a hassle. They're not sure. So it just gives them exposure. They can essentially buy staked time without even having to go through this whole hassle and just do it on Fantom. In addition, I think that they're going to go to other chains, and what happens when you go to other chains? More users have the ability to get in. More investor possibilities, more people that can get in, means more funds, which hopefully means token price goes up more. By the way, Wonderland is like 150 on the list on CoinMarketCap, so when I see crazy APY rewards on super low tokens, I'm like, what the heck, this is a major red flag. However, when it's 150, you know, high up there, I'm like, okay, it's sustainable, it's holding, what's going on here? Okay, maybe these rewards, there's a gimmick, there's something that I can do, I can game, you know, there's a game on how you can play it and how to make sure that you do well, and that's what it is. So again, in the bull run, probably great, bear run, not. So anyways, let's focus. So that's option A. So you're on the Fantom side. Fantom users can essentially buy in and sell without even having to leave Fantom at all. That's pretty cool. Now, if they choose to go and bridge on over, hey, why not? That's the whole DeFi 2.0 side. Cool. Well, what if they wanted to take a loan against it? So DeFi 2.0 is really great because it's more about being able to borrow against different type of assets that wasn't really used before, especially staked tokens. So the staked tokens are auto compounding, or they're getting rewards, but you can still have that as your collateral, as yours. It's still doing its thing, and you can borrow money against it. Now this brings out a lot of risk, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about this or clearly. So this is the benefit right here that I'm going to tell you right now. Be aware of liquidation. Liquidation is very misleading, because when you borrow money against it, I'll go into the details, but when you borrow money against it, you may see like, hey, there's a 12% liquidation fee. In my mind, as a beginner, and this happened to me just a few days ago, is that it doesn't mean that you lose 12% of what you put in. If you get liquidated, you lose it all. You lose it all. Scary heart attack, yeah. So make sure you watch, you know, the price of your collateral, because if your collateral is dropping in price, Abracadabra, the money, they're like, dude, we lent you out that money. Like, this ain't free. We need to make sure that it's safe. So if what you gave us is starting to drop in price too much, sorry, bud, we got to sell your stuff. And by selling your stuff, that means, you know, it's an instant sell, can cause a chain reaction all across different sides, because, you know, it's automated. So it's like, okay, that sells, that sells, that sells, that sells, and then you see the price dropping, and then regular people are like, oh my god, what's happening in the charts? I gotta sell my stuff too, you know. And that's why it's extremely risky in that aspect as well, if too many people are leveraged up, so to speak. But that's not unique to this system. I think it's just overall, I think it's just a normal way on the stock market in general. In crypto, can be leveraged up, and then when things get very volatile, it just plows through and things are automated, so it goes, you know, and it's insane volatility. Same thing can apply here. But liquidation, if your collateral gets too low in price, Abracadabra Money wants to make sure that they got their goods, they got their money, and they're looking at you like, I don't think you're going to pay me back, or there's a risk here. We can't risk it to other people as well. We got to sell your stuff instantly, and you're not going to see it back. So you lose everything. And I made the mistake of not researching more. Yeah, I didn't research more, so that's why you definitely got to do a deeper dive before you do anything. Well, you're not going to do anything because it's just educational purposes and entertainment, yeah? But, yeah, you can definitely lose everything. So it's nice because, let's say you have, if you do it well, you can leverage up, or you can do different possibilities, such as you can buy more time tokens, you can borrow against it, and buy more time tokens, and repeat this process a little bit more. You don't have to. You can borrow against your token that is just auto compounding and buy a different coin. Or you can just treat it as a normal loan, like fiat loan. Whatever the normal path you take in order to get, dollars into your bank account, whatever withdraw, yeah, you can do that as a loan, no questions asked, So that is just all possibilities, and it's nice because let's say the interest rate is 5%, but your MEMO token is getting, way more than that, like 8% in 5 days, as opposed to your interest rate, which is 5% in 1 year. Could be beneficial. So there are ways to play the game. I'll show some screenshots on how to do that all. But let me go into option B a little bit further. So you got your MEMO. Let's say you got $100. You can then go to the wizard, borrow it. You can borrow against it, and he will give you the loan in MEM, which is a stable coin. And all you need to know is like a dollar token. And you can go to practically any decentralized exchange. I'm talking about your Uniswap, your Sushi Swap, hopefully. Maybe you can double check me on that. But I know for sure on Spooky Swap, on your Spirit Swap, all that, you can definitely exchange it. And then you can just exchange it like it'd be your normal token, whatever it may be. Time, any random token, get money for it, whatever it may be. So it's confusing because as a newbie, I'd look at this image, I'd say, okay, what's a stable coin? Why is it worth $1? Why is that important? Apparently it is important, stable coin, but just think of it as $1, and you can go to any exchange and just literally exchange it. So it'd be the same as if you had Bitcoin and you're trying to get into, I don't know, Ethereum or something of that nature. You can swap it back and forth, even to USDC. Anyways, I got some screenshots, so just chill. Let that sink in for a second while I sip. As I said, I do this all live, love it, fun. No, actually it is fun. I do enjoy it. I don't know why. It's weird. I should do editing, do all that good stuff. I'm like, screw it, man. I'm just having fun. We'll do it live. If you know that reference, you're awesome. All right, anyway, so let's get started. As I said, time is on the AVAX side, Avalanche side. So if you are familiar with that and bridge on over, or you're already on there, cool. Can always hit up Trader Joe, give your AVAX, whatever token, and then you can purchase time, the time token. Cool. So then you come over to the Wonderland side, and then you take your time, and you come here and you stake it. Then you get a receipt saying, yeah, no, he definitely deposited his stuff, and this is a representation of that. And as time continues, there's going to be more time building up, more time building up. I think your MEMO stays the same, but when you come back to unstake, you're going to get more MEMO back. So a good analogy is, let's say you go to the bank and you say, here's $100, and they say, we're going to give you 1% every day. You say, cool, but all you have is your bank account number. That is it. And they say, just keep this, don't lose this, because this represents what you got in the bank. And you're like, cool. And you walk around, your bank account number doesn't change, but the value in the account does. So when you decide to go back, bam, it's a lot more. That's how I'm thinking about MEMO. You got the same amount, but in the meantime, your stake time is just accruing. It's auto compounding. How does auto compounding work? I'm glad that you asked. So it happens every 8 hours. The auto compounding happens every 8 hours, and you can see it right here, your reward yield. So in this case, it will be 0.57% of whatever you got. So let's say you have $100, you got 0.57% of that getting auto compounded every 8 hours. So what it is, 0.5%. Well, 5% would be $5, 0.5%, so it's 50 cents. So if you had $100, in 8 hours, you just made 50 cents, and it gets added to your total. So it's $100 and 50 cents. And then next time it's going to be, so it adds in another 50 cents plus a tiny bit extra. And this is what Drake on Digital does a good job of explaining, is that the eighth wonder of the world is just auto compounding, because people only think linearly, they do not think exponentially. And this is probably why when you hear advice about investing in a 401k, again, not financial advice, but this is how I see it, is when people say, hey, you really need to start early in the 401k, because most of the rewards and the benefit of starting early only appear at the very end of the section. That's when the most gains happen. Based on how early or late you start, that has the most impact at the last year. Okay? But you're not going to see really major in between or even towards the end. It's like the very last state, and that's when it just ramps up. So I got other screenshots to explain it. That's why the APY is insane. Again, when I see this APY at 51,000%, I say, no way, this is a BS coin. Y'all making me really, you're trying to sucker me in, giving my money, and then promising me great rewards, and then at the end I get rug pulled or something. However, keep in mind, Wonderland as of right now is a top 150 coin, and again, Danny, DeFi 2.0, so I am willing to put my money in, but again, not financial advice. So, but then I also have to understand the risks that happen. Okay, cool. So much about that. So fast forward. So let's just say you leave your stuff in here. After 5 days, if it keeps on auto compounding, again, cheap gas fees, so that's probably another major benefit, you get 8.9% after 5 days if you're to keep up at that rate. So if I gave $100, now I have roughly, I don't know, just take rough numbers, I got $8 that I accrued. So now I got $108. I gained $8 in 5 days. Well then, what if we push that out again for another 5 days? Now I'm going to have $116 plus a little extra, because that extra compounding effect is going to ramp up as time progresses, hence time and why it's so important. So all you need to know, you stake your time, you get MEMO, memories, it's just staked. That's it. And the longer you hold it, the more the ramp up due to APY, which letters and all the concepts, just the staking rewards are insane, and auto compounds for you, and it's amazing. It's a lot. But then a lot of other people are getting that same amount of rewards, so then you have to worry about people dumping on you, but then it also incentivizes you to hold it and more people to get in because, hey, the rewards are so great. And then this is where the minting and the bonding come into play, which again, I don't know. I haven't read about it. I should. This is just overview. There's documents. Read up on it. But essentially, if I had to take a guess, is that you provide liquidity pool tokens and whatnot, and then that gets yield as a result, and that backs up the system, and you get rewards where you can buy time for cheaper. Again, I can understand why it gets very complicated because I don't even fully know it. So, but again, this is just the sample. So let's talk about APY. So this is actually from the documentation itself. It shows the APY. So we talked about at the tail end is when most of the gains are made. So you can see right here, even at, let's say, day 200, whatever, where is it? Yeah, it's all right here. So another good place to hit up is APR-to-APY.com. You can experiment. So this just represents APY. So we looked at Wonderland and it was 51,000. So assuming that we're compounding every day, which is not true, we're doing it, what, 4 times a day? Because it's at 8, no. Whatever, it'd be more like 3. Okay, so you're auto compounding 3 times a day, so it'd be even less APR. But let's just say it's just once a day. That means you're getting 630 APR. So technically, if you were to just put your time in, just hold onto it or just stake it, and you were to not auto compound it, you would get rewards. So you bought time and you stake it, and you're not reinvesting. You're just taking your rewards and you're selling it, you're putting it somewhere else, doesn't matter. You get roughly 630% of what you put in. You get a 6x just from all your rewards. Now again, this would be a little bit lower because we're compounding 3 times a day, not important. However, the reason why this makes such a huge deal and the APY is so huge is the consideration with these rewards that you're getting, what would happen if you auto reinvested it and how it compounds. That is what they're trying to explain and show, which even from high level, even if I weren't to touch it and invest in it, I think this is a really cool concept to understand, especially from a crypto side. All right, so let's go a little bit further. Let's borrow the money against our memo, right? Do I want to do it in this order? Screw it, we're doing it in this order. So I went to the wizard, Abracadabra money. I come in here and I deposit my wrap memo. Keep in mind, this is like universal memo, right? It's because you just click on here, you wrap it, gas fee, super cheap, wrap it, boom, done. You deposit it, so the wizard says, okay, in case I lend you out this money, I don't know if you're going to come back or not, or your collateral, if it drops down, well, at least I got something just to cover what you borrowed. So then you put that in, and then you're able to borrow the MEM, which is the $1 equivalent, and then you can go to any decentralized exchange and swap it out like you normally would. Even go across different blockchains, etc. Now, because this asset is so risky, I assume that's why the liquidation price is only 25%. So you can only, let's say you give $100, you can maybe take around 25%, which is $25 back. So again, keep in mind, when you borrow against it, if the price of your memo is dropping due to whatever type of circumstances and it drops below a certain threshold price that they provide, granted, I blocked this out because y'all need to see my stuff. I'm keeping this on the DL, on the down low, but it's actually nothing major. But either ways, block that out. Once your collateral is going below a certain price threshold, they say, we selling you stuff, it gone, it bye-bye, and you don't get that back. So then all you keep is essentially the MEM that you have and wherever you put it, but you don't get this back. So definitely do your research on that. Double check that information. I was under the wrong assumption because I didn't do my research. That's on me. I take responsibility. Didn't read all the documents. I still haven't read all the documents, so I'm still taking on that responsibility of mess ups. So, especially you guys, definitely do more research as well. Is that, I put it in and I lost it. So, because it just dropped too much. In my opinion, it's probably not worth taking out 25% extra while risking so much that I have a memo. But that's just my opinion. You gotta do you. It's just always nice to have possibilities and options on what can happen. In addition, with DeFi 2.0, they're going to probably accept a lot more different types of collateral. So in Fantom Alerts, he talked about you can deposit your Fantom into a certain project called Urn that auto compounds, and because Fantom is most likely with auto compound, well, the price of Fantom is probably going to be way less volatile in comparison to MEMO. You can probably take out more against it, but this is where it's kind of like more leverage, or you could borrow money against it and do whatever you want with the money. But if you decide to go and take the borrowed money and buy more of the, let's say, MEMO or your Fantom that you decided to stake, I don't know if that's called folding, or you can consider that leverage, but again, major risk goes across not just Abracadabra money, but everything, so be aware, extremely risky. So if I help people understand that and account for that in their risk strategy, that is huge. But again, you're not doing it because this is just educational purposes on this journey. So, So anyways, all right, let's talk about, you got your MEM coin. You borrowed it, right? I see you, player. So you got your MEM coin. You hit up a Spirit Swap, the decentralized exchange. This I did right here is just to represent that, yes, this is worth $1. I could swap it for USDC. I can swap it for pretty much any token I want. I can also use the AnySwap bridge or the spooky bridge to bring that MEM to different blockchains that I need to. Cool. So in addition, I talked about how on the Fantom side, let's say I'm just a Fantom user, I don't want to go to any other blockchain. I don't want to deal with Avalanche for whatever reason, and Avalanche don't want to deal with me. I'm just kidding. Like everything's great. I like it that everything's just like bridging together and staying with it. But there are certain people that are just going to be native and stick to only one blockchain. That's absolutely cool, but it at least gives exposure to this project, and that is where, again, you can just shortcut it, where I'm a Fantom user, let's say I got Fantom coins or I got whatever token I got, and I can just buy my wrapped memo, that's it, and I've got exposure as if I staked my time in Wonderland. that is awesome. I can always bridge it over, do it. I can just buy and sell, let it accrue, that time. So this is just the shortcut. Go to Spirit Swap, which is just a decentralized exchange on Fantom. Find MEMO, swap for it, done. Keep in mind, always double check that you're using the right contract address and that you're using the correct website. There are scammers out there. They'll put out a token that has the same name potentially, but it's not the right one. So then you're getting scammed that way. So double make sure, triple make sure that you're using the right one. In addition, with the website, they'll do the same thing. They'll create a website that looks just like it, bump it up to the top of the list on Google or something, and then all of a sudden you click on it and you connect your wallet, boom, your funds are gone. So that's why they say bookmark this site. It's not because they want you to be a repeating customer, which is probably a part of the benefit, but then likewise, by bookmarking it, it's just one extra step that you're not going to make a mistake. So I personally, I go to CoinMarketCap and then look at the contract address there. I will look at the website there, the links that they have there, etc. Is that 100% guaranteed? Are there more safety precautions I could take? Probably, but at least as of right now, I feel safer by doing that. Again, in terms of security and other stuff, definitely learn how to use a hardware wallet opposed to just MetaMask, which is a hot wallet, because a lot of stuff can happen there. He's got some other videos about that. But anyways, that's just general crypto stuff you came here for. The info about time, Wonderland, all that good stuff. So here's another diagram that I made that talks about how MEMO time plays into this. So I'm going to take the last of the sip of water. I'm getting desperate here. I didn't pace myself out well. Anyways, so DeFi 2.0, Abracadabra money, he's taking in more assets, different types of assets, and allows you to borrow money against it, go to different chains, all that good stuff, which is amazing. When people come up and borrow, they have to pay interest, so that rewards the spell holders. Cool. In addition, if they get liquidated, which is unfortunate, it really sucks, 12% of that goes to the spell holders. So that's why spell is a big kind of, hey guys, check out spell. I'm sure by buying spell and staking, it's only on the Ethereum network. Maybe it does more for liquidity purposes and rewards and making everything just more stable and fun. You get what I'm saying. It doesn't shift the price if whales come in and stuff. It's just more stable, less price impact, and gains more. All that good stuff. Decentralized exchange, all good stuff. Rion Danny stuff, good articles. All right, back on track. So Abracadabra money is now in the process of accepting more and more types of collateral. Meaning, you got certain things that you like to own in your wallet. Cool. Can take it to Abracadabra money and borrow money against it, and you have a lot more possibilities. Now what's cool is that maybe in the past you could, let's say, just give Bitcoin, or you could just give a certain whatever as your collateral, but you're like, I'm limited. However, they're changing the game. You can now provide, or soon, you can provide, and more to come, give, I think it's called interest-bearing assets, meaning such as with MEMO, as right here, this thing is auto-compounding. So I consider it like a goose that lays golden eggs. As the time progresses, you're keeping all this, right? You're keeping the goose and you're keeping the golden eggs. I call him Goosey. So Goosey over here, man, everybody loves Goosey. Wizard loves Goosey, everybody. Oh, this is just awesome. Now there's always risks to having a Goosey apparently, so you gotta be aware of that. You do you, but Goosey is awesome, and it takes in the form of many different ways. So we talked about just right now, Wonderland, time, MEMO, that is a Goosey, and then you can go over to the wizard, give it as collateral, borrow money against it, do more stuff. If you want to get more Goosey, you do you. Another one is liquidity provider tokens. So a decentralized exchange, if you want it to run, sometimes you gotta give up your capital and then they reward you with it, and you can just keep stacking and reinvest it. That is a Goosey. Yearn auto compounds for you, pretty cool. Same thing, Goosey status. Should hashtag that, Goosey status. So that's just one way. You got the Goosey, it's an interest bearing thing, just it's auto compounding. That's all you gotta really think about. How I'm thinking about it, just you give up your money and then it auto compounds and you're getting rewards. Yeah, there's risks involved with it, but hey, the longer you hold on to it, hopefully the higher it goes on in price, especially during a bull run. Again, not financial advice. So gives you a lot more opportunity. Where does Popsicle Finance come into this play? Again, I was talking about Danny. You got a suite of projects. You got Word, you got Excel, you got well, Popsicle Finance fills in one of those roles. This one is where you got your Goosey, and it's doing its thing. But then if you give Goosey to different projects, you get even more rewards. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. So I'm thinking, at least this is how I'm thinking. I'm trying to double check my work, maybe a little bit off, but you know what? I'll hold off on that for right now. Here's why. I think it's for liquidity provider tokens, so it may only be for Spirit Swap and other decentralized exchanges where you give liquidity. Okay, I'm going into the extra details, just don't mind this. So this is, I'm thinking out loud here. I think you give like liquidity provider tokens, so let's say Spirit Swap or whatever decentralized exchange for certain tokens so that it can be traded against and you get the rewards. And then what you can do is that you can you still collect the fees that happen on it, and then you give it to Popsicle Finance. And Popsicle Finance does a great job. It's not out yet, but then the concept is that it will find the best place to get the best rewards for it. And sometimes it may not even be on the blockchain that you're on, but across different blockchains. So you can use any swap to maybe say you got a certain token that exists on Avalanche and Polygon. So maybe for a little bit it'll go on Avalanche, but oh, the rewards are over here, need it on Polygon, boom, it'll pop it over. Get a lot better rewards for it, and it's working the Goosey a lot better ways so that's more rewarding, more profits. I don't know if that necessarily ties in with Yearn and MEMO, so I have to maybe change this diagram. You guys let me know. Again, hey, I'm going through this, I'm learning, teaching you guys, you teach me, let's do this. So that's why people are talking about Popsicle Finance, and the governance token, similar to Spell, is ICE. So then Popsicle Finance is finding all the best rewards, getting a lot of profits from it, but they take a little percentage for themselves, and they reward their token holders of the governance tokens of ICE. And then that's why you're going to hear people chuck around ICE. So this is how this plays a factor, but MEMO, at least you can go Abracadabra money, borrow money against it, and do a lot of crazy stuff. Next portion. Gotta make timestamps for this. Now, a lot of people like to look at graphs and say, okay, this chart looks good, this chart doesn't, okay, what are we doing? One metric I think that is underrated that people aren't looking, and I'm going to just throw this out as maybe as alpha, is Danny's number of Twitter followers. Yeah, I said it. Because think about adoption rate. The more people are getting in, and they're getting into this, it's not just one. It's again, it's a suite of projects, such as Microsoft. There is, your Word, your Excel. Well, now you got your Spell, you got your Popsicle Finance, or your ICE. You got different decentralized exchanges that work really well. That it's already being said that they're going to be accepting as collateral. So let's say you get on Spirit Swap and you provide LP tokens. You liquid. I'm getting complicated here. Y'all need to say something. Why didn't you say something? Danny has got some sizable bags, and he has a lot of integration with different projects. So Spell, ICE, and even decentralized exchanges such as Spirit Swap, Trader Joe. It's all a network, similar to Microsoft, how you got different, like Word, Excel, etc. I see Danny as being like the Steve Jobs to Apple. Because a lot of even if I'm not an Apple fan, but even I understand that community is big. When Steve Jobs was around, he'd be coming out with the iPhone, the Mac. People were just like, "F it, take my money, I will buy it because I know what you guys good." And then it interacts with everything else. I love it. I am in, and I wouldn't say it's a cult, but just people just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, right? So I think the sense of community and the amount of adoption and people following it should not be underestimated. In fact, it could be even a metric, similar to a chart. And I'm measuring this metric not only by the charts and the prices and all that. I could look at the wallets, not that sophisticated. I am just solely looking at the number of followers. I don't know if it was a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, I'm not even sure. Made some videos. His followers was 40,000, and now that's nothing to sneeze at. But when you're talking about a project that is like building up, what is it? MEM is number 79, and it's a stablecoin, and it's climbing on up. You got your Spell, your ICE, and he's talking to other people and making some connections, and it's looking to be DeFi 2.0. really big, and his number of followers and people that are buying into this, concept and everything that he's promoting and he's got going on, that adoption, that cannot be understated. In fact, that should be really used, in my opinion, and that's what I'm looking at. So that's my alpha drop. Pow. Y'all weren't expecting it. If you hung out that long, feel free. In addition, I'm dropping more alpha. Wait, what's that? Oh, that was alpha over there. I got some more alpha over here. He's also, follow him on Twitter for sure. So being across multiple blockchains is big, because then you get a lot more investors and a lot more people. In addition, he's looking to go across other blockchains, not only EVM. So we already know that a lot of the projects are cross-blockchain that he does. Goes on, like MEMO can go on Polygon, I believe. Goes on Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, Arbitrum, Ethereum, Fantom. At least I think that's like all of them. If some of the projects swap, I don't know, but just know that they're connected, really connected, and if not, they probably will be. Well, in this tweet, just October 13th, it's already October 16th. Feels like forever ago, even though it's literally 3 days ago. What the heck am I talking about? He's looking to bridge over to other non-EVM. What does EVM mean? It's like Ethereum virtual machine. I don't even know what that means, but I think it's just kind of like it works the same, but some chains have cheaper gas fees. That's how I interpret it. But there's other layer 1 solutions, such as Solana, that isn't really EVM compatible, and he's looking to bridge on over there, get the developers, make that happen. Again, more adoption, more people, more access to funds, more liquidity, all that good stuff, more users. Do with that what you will. Don't let that alpha smack you on the way out. So, conclusion time. We're going to call this Concludy time. Yeah, it was supposed to be a brief overview. Turned out to be, oh my, 41 minutes. It do be like that sometimes. Let's get it. Alright, Concludy time. You get your time. You buy on Avalanche. Sweet. You can stake it. Get MEMO. Memories. Cool. This thing auto compounds. Awesome. If that's where you want to stay and that's all you want to know, done. Now you got more options in front of you. You can hit up the wizard. Abracadabra money. It's all tied into DeFi 2.0. Some of the projects Danny doing. You can go to the wizard and wrap your MEMO. It's still the same thing. It's just an extra gas fee, which is really cheap on the Avalanche side, not a big deal. And now you got some options to play with. You can either send that bad boy over to Fantom, probably in the future, you can probably send that bad boy to other chains as well, and that gives exposure to other people on different blockchains to just invest in it without actually, bridging on all over. So it's really nice. One-stop shop. Done. Can buy, sell, maybe arbitrage, all that good stuff. Cool story, bro. What's number 2? You can deposit it as collateral and then borrow against it. Get some money. Be aware of liquidation, because that can be a real big thing. Ooh, can hurt. You will lose everything. Ouch. So do your risk reward. If you're borrowing against MEMO, that's probably higher risk as opposed to other assets that are probably coming on Abracadabra. But let's just say you do decide to borrow against it. I like options as always. You can buy more time and repeat the process for a certain amount. You can buy a different token or an NFT project if that's what you're really seeking. Or you can literally treat it as a loan and get money. Meanwhile, your MEMO is still auto-compounding that time. So again, not financial advice. I'm not a tax expert, so you may want to take a look at that risk as well. There are probably other risks as well. I'm not a crypto expert. I didn't do my full research into this. I just want to give a simplified approach for you guys. Hopefully this helps. Yeah, definitely dig deeper if you plan on doing it, but you're not going to do it because it was just educational purposes only. And what else do I got for you? I don't know. Yeah, there's probably a lot more risk. You want to understand this project more. Read the documentation. Got links in the description. This was fun. I had a blast. I'll see you guys in the next video. Pieces. Gotta hit that stop button.